Have you ever wondered whether the people near you are truly sincere? Friendly smiles, sweet words, perfect timing. And yet, something feels off, because sometimes the warmest handshake hides the coldest intention. Jealousy can wear a suit, deceit can speak softly, and the most dangerous people are not loud enemies. They are quiet pretenders. Let me paint a scene. You just won. A real win. A promotion. A project you led. A breakthrough you worked hard for. Your friends and colleagues gather around you. They congratulate you. They smile. They clap. But in that crowd, you feel a strange tension. One person smiles, but their eyes tell another story. You cannot prove it. You cannot name it. But you feel it. And that feeling matters. Because jealousy and lies rarely arrive shouting. They arrive quietly, in jokes, in omissions, in praise that leaves a wound, in support that never appears, in warmth that fades the moment you rise. So today, I am going to share 10 methods to recognize envy and falsehood in others. Not to make you paranoid, but to make you protected. These methods are rooted in Stoic philosophy, the same wisdom that trained minds to stay clear, steady, and unshaken for thousands of years. And if you apply them, you will do two things. You will protect your peace, and you will stop mistaking performance for loyalty. Because the real danger is not only their envy, it is your confusion. It is the moment you start doubting what you clearly felt. It is the moment you begin shrinking yourself to keep other people comfortable. So stay with me. Watch until the end. Do not skip a method, because each one connects to the next. And when you finish, comment this line below. I am ready to embark on the journey. And if you want more calm strength like this, subscribe to Stoic Ocean. We build clarity here, not drama. Now, let us begin. Method 1. Observe their actions. Here is a Stoic rule that can protect your life. Do not trust words first. Trust actions. Words are easy. Words are cheap. Words can be shaped to sound sincere, but actions are costly. Actions require effort. Actions reveal priorities. Actions expose intention. So when someone says, "I am happy for you," do not only hear the sentence. Watch what follows. Do they support you when it costs them something? Do they celebrate you when no one is watching? Do they keep promises or collect excuses? Because envy loves a mask, and the mask is language. The truth is behavior. Now let us bring this into real life. You share good news. You got the promotion. Someone smiles and says, "You deserve it." But later, they forget to forward an important email. They leave you out of a meeting. They give advice that slows you down instead of helping you move. Words say support. Actions say sabotage. Another example. A friend tells you, "I love your ambition." But every time you begin building, they pull you toward distraction. They invite you out when you plan to work. They laugh at your discipline. They call it trying too hard. They do not attack directly. They bend your direction. That too is a form of action. Stoicism teaches you to see this clearly, not with anger, with precision. So here is a simple practice. For the next 7 days, observe one person closely, not obsessively, calmly. Write down 3 things: what they promised, what they did, what happened after. You are not building a case. You are building clarity, and clarity is the beginning of protection. Now sharpen this further. Actions are not only big moments. Actions are patterns. Small behaviors, repeated over time, become a confession. Here are 3 patterns to watch for. Pattern 1. They appear for celebration, but disappear for sacrifice. They like your shine. They do not like your need. Pattern 2. They forget your important moments, your interview, your launch, your performance, but they remember every detail of their own story. Pattern 3. They compete quietly. They copy. They compare. They keep score. And when you win, they change the standard. Now you may ask, Is that too harsh? Should I not give grace? Yes, give grace, but do not give unlimited access. Stoicism teaches two truths at once. Be kind, be wise. You can forgive someone and still stop feeding them information, so use this Stoic filter. Ask yourself, what is within my control? Their jealousy is not. Their lies are not. Their insecurity is not. What is within my control? My boundaries, my attention, my choices, my circle. So stop trying to fix them. Start learning to protect yourself. Here is another example. You tell a friend, I am starting a business. They say, amazing, I believe in you. Then every week they send you stories about businesses failing. They never say, do not do it. They simply flood you with doubt. That is an action. It is an action against your momentum. Or you tell a co-worker, I am applying for a bigger role. They smile. They praise you. Then later, in front of others, they joke, you think you are ready? That is not honesty. That is social sabotage. So your response must stay quiet. You do not need revenge. You need distance. Less sharing, less explaining, more building. And before you tell someone your next big move, ask two questions. Have they celebrated me without competing? Have they supported me without needing credit? If the answer is no, keep the plan private. Work in silence. Let results speak. Method 2. Listen to what they avoid saying. Envy is not always loud. Sometimes it is silent. Sometimes it hides in what is missing. Because some people cannot bring themselves to give you clean credit. They avoid direct praise. They avoid clear recognition. They avoid saying, you did that, you earned that, you improved. Instead, they give you fog. Vague compliments, half praise, backhanded warmth. They say, must be nice. They say, you got lucky. They say, I guess it worked out. Notice the pattern. Their words stay shallow, because deeper praise would require a deeper truth, and a deeper truth would force them to face their own insecurity. Here is a common moment. You share a win. You expect one honest response. I am proud of you, but instead they switch topics. They talk about themselves. They mention someone else. They bring up a problem. They do not attack you. They erase the moment. And erasure is its own form of dishonesty, because they are not meeting reality. They are escaping it. So what do? You do not beg for praise. You do not argue. You ask one neutral question. Simple. Calm Stoic. You say, what do you think helped me most to achieve that? If they are sincere, they will answer with interest. They will name your effort, your discipline, your growth. If they are false, they will dodge again. They will minimize. They will redirect, and that gives you something important. Data, not drama. Data. Because Stoicism is not about assuming the worst. It is about seeing clearly. And often the truth hides inside what people refuse to say. Now, let us go deeper. Because envy does not only hide in silence, it also hides in language tricks. Here are 5 common ones. Trick 1. They use we when you did the work. They say, we did great, but you carried it. Trick 2. They praise the result, but remove the effort. They say, you are lucky. Lucky is convenient. It does not honor discipline. Trick 3. They compliment the outcome, but avoid your character. They say, nice result, but never say, you were brave. You were focused. You stayed consistent. Trick 4. They praise you publicly, then undermine you privately. Public praise protects their image. Private undermining protects their control. Trick 5. They congratulate you, then compare immediately. Good for you, but I could never. I guess I am not as talented. This creates guilt in you, and guilt makes you shrink. Now the Stoic move is not to correct every sentence. It is to notice the intention behind it. So here is a listening exercise. When you share good news, listen for two things. Do they celebrate or do they compete? Do they get curious or do they become distant? Then notice yourself after the conversation. Do you feel lighter or smaller? Do you feel clear or strangely drained? Because your body often notices what words try to hide. Now here is the practical response. Share less until trust earns more, and when you must share, share facts, not your heart. Keep it simple. Keep it clean, because you are not here to impress people. You are here to live in peace. So let this become a Stoic rule. Stop chasing clarity from their mouths. Start noticing reality through their patterns. Say this to yourself. I do not need to be fully understood. I need to be protected, and protection begins with quiet discipline. Here are two mistakes people make when they sense envy. Mistake 1. They over-explain. They think, if I explain myself better, they will support me. But envy rarely softens because of explanation. It often uses your explanation as more material. Mistake 2. They overshare. They offer details to prove innocence, but details become weapons in the wrong hands. So the Stoic response is simple. Share less. Move more. Let time reveal what performance cannot hide, because sincerity survives time. Falsehood gets tired. It cannot act forever. Eventually, the mask slips. Now take one breath and promise yourself this. I will not ignore patterns. I will not chase applause. I will choose peace. And one more thing. Some people will hear this and think, I do not want to judge anyone. Good. Do not judge. Observe. Stoicism is not suspicion. It is awareness. It does not teach you to hate people. It teaches you to stop being fooled. So keep this mindset. Assume nothing. Observe everything. Choose slowly. That is peace. Because peace is not pretending everything is fine. Peace is seeing reality and staying steady anyway. Now there is one more layer you must understand. Sometimes people act false not because they hate you, but because they fear what your growth reveals in them. They fear being behind. They fear being ordinary. They fear your discipline exposes their excuses, so they cope by minimizing you, by erasing the moment, by competing quietly, by praising you in ways that make you feel smaller. And here is why you must see it clearly. Because if you do not, you will start editing yourself. You will speak smaller, celebrate less, hide your ambition, lower your standards to keep others comfortable. That is the real danger, not only their jealousy, your self-betrayal. So remember this Stoic truth. Other people's emotions are not your responsibility. Your character is. Your peace is. Your direction is. So keep your direction. And as we move forward, do not search for villains. Search for patterns. Then choose wisely. Now let me ground this in one more scene. Because many people feel envy most sharply inside close circles. Family, old friends, long relationships, and that makes it painful. So imagine this. You improve your life. You start training. You start reading. You start building. You start speaking with more clarity. And suddenly, someone close to you starts acting differently. They do not insult you. They reduce you. They say, you have changed. They say, you think you are better. They say, remember where you came from. Now sometimes that can be love, but sometimes it is fear. Fear that your growth will separate you. Fear that your discipline will expose their comfort. So what is the Stoic response? You do not fight. You do not preach. You do not beg to be understood. You stay consistent. You stay respectful. And you let your life be your explanation. Because one of the fastest ways to lose your peace is trying to win every person. You do not need everyone's approval. You need your own integrity. Now here is a final tool for methods 1 and 2. The 3 questions. Before you trust someone, ask this. Do they respect my wins? Do they respect my no? Do they respect my privacy? If the answer is no, you do not need a dramatic conflict. You need boundaries, and boundaries are a form of self-respect. Method 3. Watch their reaction to your success. Success is a spotlight. It brightens everything. It reveals faces. It reveals motives. It reveals truths people hoped you would never notice. Because when you rise, other people must face a mirror. And not everyone likes what they see. So pay close attention, not only to words, to reactions, to timing, to energy. Because envy often leaks through the body first, through tone, through expression, through a smile that arrives late and leaves early. They may say, "Congratulations," but the room feels colder. They may clap, but their smile never reaches their eyes. They may praise you, then immediately warn you. Do not get too confident. Stay humble. Be careful. It sounds wise. But the timing reveals something else. Sometimes false humility is just jealousy wearing moral language. Now compare this carefully. How do they react when you struggle? When you fail? When you feel small? Some people become warmer then. Suddenly they have time for you. Suddenly they have advice. Suddenly they know how to be close. Not always because of love. Sometimes because your struggle makes them comfortable. It makes them feel safe. Your struggle relaxes them. Your doubt comforts them. But when you succeed, they change. They go quiet. They pull back. Or they suddenly become harder to read. That contrast is one of the clearest signals you will ever notice. So here is a practice. When you share a win, watch 3 things. Do they ask real questions? Do they celebrate the details? Do they encourage your next step? Sincere people expand with you. Envious people tighten around you. They make your victory feel inconvenient. They make your joy feel like too much. Now, what do you do with that knowledge? Do not confront instantly. Do not accuse. Do not put them on trial. Observe. Then, adjust access. You do not need to fight. You need to protect your peace. Stoicism teaches calm protection. You can be polite and still be careful. You can smile and still create distance. You are not obligated to share your joy with someone who quietly resents it. Now let us go deeper, because envy has stages, and each stage wears a different face. Stage 1. They act neutral. They say, "Oh, nice," and move on. No curiosity, no warmth, no real presence. Stage 2. They moralize your success. They say, "Stay humble." Do not let it change you. Those words sound wise. But the timing reveals the poison. You finally rise, and their first instinct is to make you smaller. Stage 3. They question your legitimacy. How did you get that? Who helped you? Are you sure you earned it? This is not honest curiosity. It is erosion. They are trying to loosen your confidence. Stage 4. They predict your downfall. Enjoy it while it lasts. Success comes and goes. Again, it sounds philosophical, but it is not wisdom. It is resentment dressed as perspective. So here is a Stoic micro-practice. When you succeed, keep your circle small. Share the full story with the proven, the consistent, the steady, and with everyone else, keep it brief. Thank you. I appreciate it. Then move on. Because the more you explain your success, the more you invite unnecessary judgment, and judgment is where envy multiplies. Method 4. Notice subtle sarcasm. Sarcasm is a weapon that borrows the costume of humor. It gives people cover. They can sting you, then step back and say, "I was just joking." But jokes have patterns, and patterns reveal intention. So listen carefully to the comments people call funny. What do they target? Your discipline, your confidence, your appearance, your standards, your growth. A sincere friend may tease you once. Then they stop. Because they care how it lands. But a jealous person returns to the same wound again and again. They joke about your success. They joke about your dreams. They joke about your routines. They joke about the standards that are changing your life. And each time, they lower you a little more. That is not comedy. That is control. Now, how do you respond like a Stoic? First, do not react impulsively. Reactive anger feeds the game. Second, name the pattern inside yourself. You do not need a dramatic speech. You need inner clarity. Third, set a clean boundary. Simple lines are enough. I do not find that funny. Let us keep it respectful. I would rather not speak like that. If they are sincere, they adjust. If they are false, they blame you. They say, "You are too sensitive. You cannot take a joke." And that response tells you everything. Because a person who mocks your boundary is not protecting the relationship. They are protecting their access to disrespect you. So the Stoic move is distance, less access, less sharing, less closeness, not hatred, discernment. Now notice what makes sarcasm so dangerous. It comes with plausible deniability. That is why it confuses people. It lets them wound you, then makes you feel foolish for noticing the wound. So your response must stay clean. Here are 3 quiet options. Option 1. Silence. Do not laugh for them. Do not rescue the moment. Do not argue. Let the joke fall flat on its own. Option 2. Clarify. Ask, what do you mean by that? False sarcasm hates direct light. It usually collapses when it must explain itself. Option 3. Redirect. Say, let us keep this constructive. Then move forward. And if the sarcasm keeps repeating, your answer is not a longer explanation. Your answer is less access. Because repeated disrespect is not humor. It is information. And wise people know what to do with information. Method 5. Watch how they treat others. People reveal themselves most clearly when they believe there is no cost. They reveal themselves in how they treat those they do not need. The waiter, the cleaner, the quiet coworker, the friend with no influence, the person who cannot reward them. Because if someone is careless with others, they will be careless with you when the conditions change. Maybe not today, maybe not while they need your approval, but eventually. So watch the pattern. Do they gossip constantly? Do they enjoy humiliation? Do they expose private stories for entertainment? Do they light up when someone else fails? Because envy and deceit often travel with contempt, and contempt never stays contained. It spreads. Now use a Stoic lens. Do not judge by charm. Judge by virtue. Virtue looks like respect. Virtue looks like honesty. Virtue looks like restraint. Virtue looks like fairness. So when someone smiles at you but tears others down, do not be hypnotized by the smile. You are looking at a preview. You are seeing how they may treat you the day you are vulnerable. So here is a simple rule. If they speak carelessly about others, they will eventually speak carelessly about you. That does not mean you become cold. It means you become selective. You keep your private life private around people who do not honor privacy. You choose relationships where kindness is consistent, not strategic. This method matters because it removes illusion. People can fake warmth for a moment. They can fake manners for an advantage. But very few people can fake character all day, with everyone, for years. So watch how they treat the invisible. Watch how they treat the person below them. Watch how they treat the person who has nothing to offer. Here are 3 red flags. Red flag 1. Contempt. Not disagreement. Contempt. They mock. They degrade. They enjoy the power of making others smaller. Red flag 2. They turn trust into entertainment. Private conversations become public stories. Someone's vulnerability becomes their material. Red flag 3. They feed on drama. They collect conflict like a hobby. Always a story, always a villain, always a reason to stir the room. Now why does this matter for envy and falsehood? Because a person who harms others socially will eventually harm you socially. They will twist your words. They will pass around your private moments. They will use what you trusted them with when it becomes useful. So the Stoic response is selective openness. You can be friendly, but your inner life belongs with the trustworthy. Now let me give you a quiet test. I call it the 3-room test. Room 1, the public room. How do they treat people when others are watching? Many people seem kind here. Reputation is present. Room 2, the private room. How do they treat people when nobody is watching? This is where character usually speaks the loudest. Room 3, the power room. How do they behave when they have leverage? When they are right, when they are winning, when they can punish. If someone becomes cruel when they hold power, they are not safe. They are simply waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. Stoicism teaches you to be realistic, not naive. So do not say, "They would never." Ask instead, "What have they shown me?" Because what people repeatedly show you is the truth you must build on. And here is another useful standard. Do not measure sincerity by intensity. Measure it by reliability. Some people are intense. They hug you, they praise you, they call you family, but they disappear when it is inconvenient to care. That is performance. Sincere people are steady. They check in. They show up. They do not need to announce loyalty. They live it. So hold one question in your mind. Is this person safe for my peace? If not, be polite, but be private. Now let me give you one final tool for these methods. The access dial. Not everyone gets full access. You do not move from stranger to inner circle in one conversation. You turn the dial slowly. Level 1. Surface talk, work, weather, small updates. Level 2. Small truth, a minor goal, a simple plan. Then watch their response. Level 3. Real vulnerability, only after proof, only after consistency, only after time. Because safety is earned, not assumed. That does not make you cold. It makes you wise. And wisdom keeps you out of circles that drain your life. Now let me make this even simpler. Sometimes you do not need more analysis. You need one clean rule. If a person regularly leaves you feeling smaller, they are not a safe place. It does not matter how funny they are. It does not matter how long you have known them. It does not matter how kind they appear in public. Peace is the test, and you are allowed to choose peace. So, if you notice this shrinking effect, do one simple thing. Reduce exposure. Fewer calls, less sharing. Shorter conversations, more space. This is not punishment. It is self-respect, and self-respect is the beginning of a cleaner life. Method 6. Be wary of excessive flattery. Flattery feels good. That is why it works so well. It feeds the ego. It lowers your guard. It makes you trust before you verify. But not all praise is admiration. Sometimes praise is a leash. It lifts you emotionally so it can guide you where you would not normally go. So notice the sequence. Praise, then a favor. Praise, then a push. Praise, then an agenda you did not see at first. Here is a common scene. Someone praises you in front of others. They call you the most reliable one, the smartest one, the one who always comes through. You feel respected, then the ask arrives. Can you stay late? Can you cover this for me? Can you make an exception? Can you introduce me to someone you know? Now, helping people is not wrong. Stoicism values service. But manipulation often uses your virtue against you. It studies your goodness, then leans on it. That is why you must stay calm, stay clear. Ask yourself 3 things. What is the ask? What is the cost? What is the pattern? If every compliment ends with a demand, you are not being honored. You are being managed. So the Stoic practice is pause. Do not answer instantly. Say, let me think about it. Let me check my schedule. I will get back to you. Then watch their reaction. Sincere people respect your time. Deceitful people apply pressure. They act surprised. They rush you. They make you feel guilty for needing space, and pressure is a signal. Now let us add one more layer, because flattery has two faces. Face 1. The admirer. They praise you, and they want nothing. They appreciate your work. They respect your limits. They celebrate your growth without trying to steer it. Face 2. The user. They praise you, but they are really reaching for access. Access to your time. Access to your name. Access to your attention. Access to your influence. So here is a quick test. After the compliment, do they ask you to betray your schedule? Do they ask you to betray your standards? Do they ask you to betray your values? If yes, the compliment was bait. And here is a Stoic script you can use anytime. I appreciate that. Let me look at it. I will get back to you. Simple, polite, protected. Because one paused answer can save you from many avoidable mistakes. Method 7. Check consistency over time. Real sincerity has a stable shape. It is consistent. It appears in private and in public, when you are winning, when you are struggling, when they need nothing, when they gain nothing. Falsehood is unstable. It changes with convenience. It changes with audience. It changes with advantage. So do not judge by one moment. Judge by pattern, across weeks, across months, across different situations, because truth can survive time. A lie must keep adjusting. Now here is a simple ledger, not written in anger, written in clarity. 3 columns, what they said, what they did, how you felt after. If that ledger shows repeated mismatch, take it seriously. You are not negative, you are awake. And being awake is a Stoic advantage. Now let us make consistency easier to measure. Because yes, sometimes people are inconsistent by accident. Life happens, stress happens, people fail. But deceit is not random inconsistency. It is selective inconsistency. Honest when it helps, vague when it costs, present when you are useful, absent when you need support, warm in public, cold in private. That is not confusion. Sometimes that is strategy. So here is the practice. Give it 2 weeks. 2 calm weeks of observation, 2 weeks of notes, not to condemn, to understand. Because reality is what wise people build on. And if the pattern keeps shifting, adjust your expectations. Stop expecting honesty from a dishonest pattern. That expectation is often what hurts you most. It is painful to admit the truth, but it is more painful to keep handing trust to someone who has not earned it. So remember this. Do not fall in love with isolated moments. Pay attention to recurring behavior. Anyone can act well for a day. Character is what remains when the performance gets tired. Method 8. Notice boundary violations. Jealous and dishonest people rarely begin with open aggression. They begin with small tests, small pressure, small guilt, small disrespect. They ask for favors, then act offended when you say no. They push for details you do not want to share. They invite themselves in. They demand quick replies. They act entitled to your time, your energy, your attention. And every time you allow it, the boundary moves. That is why Stoicism matters here, because Stoicism is not weakness, it is calm strength. You do not need a long speech to defend your boundary. You need one clear line. No. That does not work for me. I am not available. I do not discuss that. Then comes the hardest part. Consistency. Because if you say no today but yes tomorrow out of guilt, you train them to keep pushing. So hold the line. Not with anger, with steadiness. Now, if you are starting to see these patterns, subscribe to Stoic Ocean and comment this below. I am ready to protect my peace because protection is not paranoia, it is wisdom. Now let us go deeper. Boundary violations often arrive in disguise. They call it closeness. They call it honesty. They call it concern. They call it care. But real care respects your no. Real care respects your privacy. Real care does not demand access you did not offer. And this is where many people get trapped. They do not fail to set a boundary. They fail because they keep explaining it to someone who has already heard it. That is exhausting, not because your boundary is wrong, because their pattern is deliberate. So here is a boundary practice Stoics understand well. Say less, explain less, repeat less. Your boundary does not need better wording. It needs consistent action. And if someone keeps crossing it, that is not confusion. That is information. They heard you. They just do not want to honor it. So do not keep negotiating with a pattern that has already revealed itself. Be clear, be calm, be consistent. That is how peace is protected. That is disrespect. So you choose distance, not revenge. Distance. Now, before we move on, here is a calm Stoic checklist, not to judge people, to protect your peace. Checklist. Item 1. Do I feel safe sharing good news? Checklist item 2. Do I feel safe sharing bad news? Checklist item 3. Do I feel respected when I say no? Checklist item 4. Do their words match their behavior? Checklist item 5. When corrected, do they improve or perform? If most answers are no, do not panic. Do not rage. Do not make a dramatic speech. Just adjust. Adjust the distance. Adjust the information. Adjust the access. Because Stoicism is not about controlling other people. It is about governing yourself. And self-government is the foundation of peace. Now let me show you how methods 6, 7, and 8 look in real life. Scenario 1. The flattering co-worker. They praise you often. They call you brilliant, reliable, exceptional. Then they ask you to do their work. They make it sound like a compliment, like a privilege. Stoic response, pause. Say, I appreciate that. I can't take this on. Then watch. Do they respect it? Or do they punish you with pressure, guilt, or coldness? Because respect reveals sincerity. Punishment reveals control. Scenario 2. The inconsistent friend. 1 week, they are warm. The next, they are cold. One day, they praise you. The next, they mock you. Stoic response. Do not chase their changing mood. Track the pattern. 2 calm weeks. Then decide the level of access, because unstable people create unstable peace, and your peace is not negotiable. Scenario 3. The boundary tester. They ask personal questions. They push for details. They act offended when you stay private. Stoic response. Keep it simple. I'm not discussing that. Then change the subject. If they push again, repeat the line. If they push again, reduce the access. Because boundaries are not a debate. They are a policy. Now hold on to this Stoic truth. If you do not choose your boundaries, other people will choose your life for you. And most people are not qualified to steer your life. So be calm, be clear, be consistent. And when you feel that guilty pull, remember this. Guilt is often the favorite tool of manipulation. Healthy people respect your no. Unhealthy people punish your no. So when someone punishes you for having boundaries, you are seeing their character, not your flaw. Here are 2 boundary lines you can memorize. Script 1. I'm keeping that private. Script 2. I'm not available for that. Notice how short they are, because long explanations invite negotiation. Short boundaries end negotiation. Now here is another Stoic move. Replace guilt with virtue. When you say no, you practice temperance. When you stay calm, you practice wisdom. When you protect your peace, you practice courage. So do not treat boundaries like selfishness. Treat them like character training. And expect pushback when you change access, because control does not leave quietly. So if they guilt you, stay calm. Repeat the boundary, then step away. This is not cruelty, it is self-respect. And before we move to the final methods, remember this. The goal is not to catch people. The goal is to stay free. Free from manipulation, free from guilt, free from constant explaining. So when your mind spins, come back to one question. What is within my control? My boundaries, my attention, my time, my privacy, my standards. That is enough. You do not need to read everyone perfectly. You need to protect yourself consistently, and consistency is what Stoicism trains. Not panic, not paranoia. Calm repetition, calm standards, calm decisions. Your peace is not fragile, it is trained, and training begins with the boundaries you hold today. Method 9. Watch how they handle criticism. Truth can handle feedback. Falsehood cannot, because falsehood is built on image, not substance. So when you challenge a dishonest person, they rarely correct their behavior. They protect their reputation, they deflect, they blame. They change the subject, they attack your tone, they attack your character, they play victim, they say, "Why are you doing this? Why are you so negative? Why are you so sensitive?" But notice what they avoid. They avoid the fact, they avoid accountability. Now there is a Stoic way to test this. You do not accuse, you do not dramatize. You state a clear observation, calmly. Yesterday you said this. Today you did that. Can you help me understand the difference? A sincere person may feel uncomfortable, but they will still engage with reality. A false person will dodge. They will turn the moment into a conflict. They will make you the problem. And if your peace depends on them admitting the truth, you will suffer. So do not aim for confession, aim for clarity. Once you see how someone handles correction, you know how safe they are to trust. Now let me show you 3 common shields dishonest people use when exposed. Shield 1. They rewrite history. I never said that. Even when they did. Even when you remember. Shield 2. They change the target. But what about you? They move the spotlight off their behavior and onto your flaws. Shield 3. They weaponize emotion. They cry. They explode. They threaten the bond. Not to resolve truth, to avoid truth. So the Stoic move is not endless argument. It is observation. Because you cannot reason someone into honesty when honesty is not their goal. So choose your response wisely. Less trust, more distance, clearer boundaries, cleaner exits from pointless debates. Method 10. Listen to your inner voice. Then verify. Intuition is not magic. It is pattern detection. Your nervous system often notices inconsistency before your mind can explain it. That is why you can feel uneasy around someone who looks friendly, helpful, smiling, polished, and yet something in you stays tense. That discomfort is not proof, but it is a signal, an alarm, and alarms matter. So the Stoic response is balance. Listen to intuition, then verify with reason. Do not worship the feeling. Do not ignore it either. Use both. Here is the Stoic ladder. Step 1. Notice the feeling, uneasy, tense, drained, confused. Step 2. Ask what triggered it. A joke, an omission, a contradiction, a shift in tone. Step 3. Collect evidence over time, not one moment, a pattern. Step 4. Choose your response. Less sharing, more boundaries, less access. Or if it is safe, one calm conversation. But do not silence your inner voice just to keep the peace. Sometimes ignoring it costs you peace. Now let us make this more practical, because some people will call intuition overthinking, but intuition at its healthiest is simple. It is your body saying, something does not match. Here are 3 signs your inner voice is worth respecting. Sign 1. You feel drained after every interaction. Not tired, drained, as if you had to manage yourself the whole time. Sign 2. You feel you must perform around them. You cannot relax. You cannot speak freely. You are always editing what you say. Sign 3. Their kindness comes with confusion. You never know which version of them you will meet. Warm today, cold tomorrow. Supportive in public, undermining in private. Now bring it back to one question. Does this person move me toward virtue or away from it? Do they make me more honest, more calm, more disciplined? Or do they pull me toward gossip, anxiety, comparison, and self-doubt? Because your relationships shape your character, and your character shapes your life. So choose slowly. Fast trust often costs you. Slow discernment protects you. Now let us close with a Stoic frame. You are not here to control others. You are here to govern your choices, to choose your circle, to protect your values, to keep your mind clear. So remember the system. Actions over words, omissions over performance, reactions over compliments, sarcasm over false humor, character over charm, patterns over moments, boundaries over guilt, accountability over image, intuition verified by evidence. That is how you recognize envy and falsehood without becoming paranoid. That is how you protect your peace without becoming bitter. That is how you remain calm, clear, and strong. If this helped you, apply one method today. Then come back and comment, I did it. And if you want more calm strength like this, subscribe to Stoic Ocean. We build clarity here, not drama. And remember this, you do not need to hate anyone. You just need to stop feeding access to people who misuse it. You can forgive and still protect your peace. That is Stoic strength. You cannot control whether people envy you. You cannot control whether people lie. But you can control what you do next. Who gets access to your inner life? What you tolerate? Where you place trust. So do not become paranoid. Become precise. Do not become bitter. Become wise. Do not become reactive. Become calm. Because calm people see clearly, and clear people choose better. So keep your standards. Keep your boundaries. Keep your peace. Because your peace is not a luxury. It is a responsibility, and the way you protect it will shape the quality of your life. Your job is to tell the difference. Not with suspicion, with time, with patterns, with evidence. So let time test people. Let small boundaries test people. Let your success test people. And let your honesty test people. Because sincere people do not fear truth. They do not fear your growth. They do not fear your boundaries. They respect them. And when you find those sincere people, hold them close. Be generous with them. Be loyal to them. Build with them. Because Stoicism is not isolation. It is wise connection, wise friendship, wise love. So protect your peace, but keep your heart for the worthy. And if you want a short affirmation to carry with you, let it be this. I choose truth. I choose calm. I choose boundaries. I choose wise people. I release guilt. I protect my peace. That is enough. Now take one action before this day ends. Pick one method, just one. Use it today. Then come back and comment, I did it. Not the drama, the pattern. Because patterns are how we grow wiser. And if you want more Stoic tools for a calm life, subscribe to Stoic Ocean. We build clarity here, not drama. And remember, calm is power. Boundaries are strength. Truth is protection. Choose wisely. Protect your mind. Protect your time. Protect your heart. And if you ever doubt, return to the evidence. Patterns do not lie, and your peace is worth the protection.